Appreciate it. All right, guys, let's move on to free agency now. Now we go. Now it gets real. There's going to be a trade segment here. Is he going to let me go for it? I think it will. Yeah. Maybe it won't. Uh-oh, we may be stuck here. So is it forcing us to make decisions on these guys? It looks like it might be. That's interesting. All right, so we may have to go through and cut these guys at the bottom possibly because we're under the cap. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. You see of course it don't. Oh, here we go. It was just the ad that was covering it up. They got a click from me. Boom. All right, so trade. There's going to be trade offers here. You guys know how I roll with this stuff. Trades are so hard to hammer down and this and that. It's being so unrealistic to go, I'm going to go grab this guy and that guy and this guy. It's cool. Go play Madden. But I just try not to approach it this way. So let's go into free agency now. So here we go. Here's the restricted free agent tenders. All right. How much would you be willing to be on the hook for these guys is what it comes down to. Okay. So let's get into it. First one at the top of the list, Darian Kinnard. Reality is he was one of our better offensive linemen last year, believe it or not. His restricted free agent tender is sitting at $3.5 million, is the cheapest one. Okay, you can go 3.5, you can go 5.8. That's a second round tender or a first round tender at 8.1. Essentially, what this means is you're going to be on the hook for paying for those players, right? And if another team outbids you at the 5.8 mark, then you get a second round pick in return. It turns into a trade. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So let's go through with the numbers. Darian Kinnard, $3.5 million, yes or no to keep him?
I don't mind I wouldn't mind having him, especially if we do lose Elgton, if we do lose Banks, if we do lose Walker. He had a 69.4 overall grade with a 73.6 pass blocking grade, which doesn't sound great, but I tell you what, that's not bad this day and age, especially like I said, if we're in such dire straits with that bench. Personally, I don't think 3.5 is too much to ask for that.
All right, Tim, how about you, man? How you feel about it?
I agree. We already have depth issues on that line as it is, and assuming working this model that we're working now, we just got rid of two guys, so I'm down with keeping Kinnard for sure.
Right. And it looks like everybody in the chat agrees too, right? Completely agree. He was a very valuable piece to that offensive line that struggled, obviously. All right, next is Aaron Mosby at 3.5. That one's a no for me personally.
Yeah, I like Mosby, but not at that number.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, next is Josh Wiley, and it's showing. Is it showing that already clicked? It ain't showing. I don't know. That's weird. It's like it's only giving us an option for a second round tender at 5.8 or none. Make him an unrestricted free agent. I think I'd have to go none as opposed to 5.8 for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And then he tests the market. You could still maybe get him, right?
Oh, so that's it. They already had him checked is what it was. Okay, cool. So Josh Wiley, we can do for 3.5. Again, I'll probably let him test the market.
The market.
Yep. And I liked Wiley. I thought he was a good addition. I really did. Yeah. Again, you're just getting to that point where if you go through and hit all these backup players with restricted free agent tenders, you're gonna shave your cap down really, really quick, right? So we went with Kinnard. We're skipping on Mosby, skipping on Wiley. Jacob, sir, Brent, $3.5 million. So you have the floor.
All right. Now I know you guys may think that I'm a little biased here, but I really do think, yes, for Cox, I really do think that if we could throw a second round tender on him, I'm okay with the 5. Is that 5.8?
Really? 5.8? Okay. Second round tender for Brent Cox.
I would, just because if we're going to lose Mosby, depending on if we're going to not re-sign Enigbare, depending on if Mike is back healthy. Obviously, we know Gary's been up and down. And then LDN, same kind of thing. So it's like, I think that he's deserving of it. I mean, 5.8 is kind of a drop in the bucket, in my opinion. I mean, otherwise, I am cool with just 3.5. But I don't know.
Here's the problem.
That's where I'd be.
If you would do it too, Tim?
I'd be more in the 3.5 range for him.
So,
and we got to remember, he didn't play a lot of football for us last year. It's been dealing with injury.
Here's the thing, Jacob, with that second round tender. That's in your mind. You've got to be thinking, okay, someone's willing to trade a third round pick for him because that's a second round tender. So are you saying that if we did sign him to a 3.5 million, someone would offer us a draft pick for him because essentially if they outbid us, they have to give up a draft pick. Is that what you're saying? You do think that would happen?
I think it's possible. All right. I'll go back. I'll go down to the 3.5 because honestly, if we could get just a draft pick for him, I think that'd show that the whole process from him being drafted as a UDFA to where he's at now was a winner.
Right. Yeah.
I just want Brenton Cox's name to go down people's mouths smooth. You know what I mean?
Understood. So we're going to bring back Brenton Cox Jr. All right, at a $3.5 million. Emmanuel Wilson, $3.5 million. That's an interesting one. That really, really is an interesting one. And we're starting to eat into that cap a little bit. It's not showing us the total right now, but you can see how this will trickle down really, really quick, right? Really quick. So, Brenton Cox Jr. we got. Emmanuel Wilson would be $3.5 million. He underperformed last year, to be 100% honest. He wasn't as good as he'd been in the past, but boy, oh boy, in the past, he had been excellent. And we all agree the offensive line was the problem with the running game last year. So it's real tricky. Now you've also got Marshawn Lloyd, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy. At the same time, I think we got our boy from Miami. He's on the roster as well. What's the kid that we signed that we were real high on? He was in the draft last year. We actually had I want to say it was like a 120-ish grade on him. Damian Martinez, is that who it was? I'm trying to think. He came from the University of Miami. Anyway, he's a solid backup as well. So, Tim, Emmanuel Wilson's kind of your guy, man. I'm gonna leave it to you here to start the conversation. Would you want to put a 3.5 on him, a 5.8 on him, or just nothing and kind of move forward?
My heart says 3.5. My brain says let him test the market. Unfortunately,
I agree.
It's just kind of where I'm at. No disrespect. I love you, Wilson. Good teammate, good player. But I don't know if we can afford to eat up any more cap, the way things are looking right now.
Yeah, and when you look at the whole situation there with Brenton Cox Jr., if we had said no to Brenton Cox Jr., I would be okay with saying yes to Emmanuel Wilson. But it kind of comes down to one of those two players that we got to choose from, So for me, I think it would be none as well. Jacob, do you agree or disagree with that, man?
I do agree, I think, just because I believe running back, it feels like you can get a guy off the street kind of from anywhere at any time. The only thing that I would caution is that if we scroll down again, we'll see Chris Brooks here as well. So that running back room is basically Josh Jacobs. And if you trust Marshawn Lloyd in any capacity, that'd pretty much be it.
Damian Martinez. Yeah.
And Martinez. I'm okay with that because, like I said, I just think we're good at drafting and developing and being able to find free agents off the street. So as much as I love E. Wilson and Chris Brooks, I think that I'm willing to, like Tim said, I'm watching that dollar sign go up and that.
Yeah. Right. And Chris Brooks is he brings more value really in pass pro, right? He's not really carrying the ball as much as, Emmanuel Wilson carried the ball for us. So we're just looking at running back depth here. So I think it's a great point, Jacob.
Yeah. And right down the stretch here, just rapid fire. Jonathan Ford at defensive tackle, $3.5 million. That's a no for me. Zane Anderson, I like as a football player, but man, the guy can't stay healthy. $3.5 million. That's a little rich for me. And then Chris Brooks, if there's one of the running backs that you would hit with, I know they love Chris Brooks and pass protection, and he is kind of our pass protecting back. That would make more sense to me than Emmanuel Wilson. However, we know Emmanuel Wilson's a better running back with the ball in his hand. But overall, Chris Brooks is probably the better back to fit Matt LaFleur's scheme and his system. It's tough to watch him walk as well, but I can't justify $3.5 million for him.
Yeah.
So I think we've got to the point where, we're good. So again, quick recap: we're going to hit Darian Kennard with the $3.5 million tender, and we're going to hit Brenton Cox Jr. with the $3.5 million tender. So we just lost $7 million. Now I almost want to go back to the Josh Jacobs contract and go ahead and get that $4.5 million. You know what I mean? They probably will do that, to be honest with you. They'll do something there. So if we confirm those tenders, hopefully this don't screw everything up. But if I go back, I'm going to see if we can go back and do that actually. Because, it's not going to show the current roster. Let me see if I can bounce back real quick in real time. I don't think it'll screw anything up. And now let's go back to the Josh Jacobs restructure. We're just going to do that simple restructure there at 4.5. Free that up.
Ew.
Let's see if everything stayed in place. It did. All right, cool.
Nice.
So there you go.
This site is so cool, man.
It really is. They've done a great job. But again, you guys can check this out and do your own offseason at sticktothemodel.com. Excellent tool. So now we are in free agency. It's going to show our free agents first and an opportunity to re-sign those players. Okay. The one on the list that really piques my interest the most is Sean Ryan. Now, you brought back Darian Kennard, backup caliber player who, when he started, he played pretty damn good, right? Collectively speaking, across our offensive line, I guess you could say. Sean Ryan, I think, is very, very valuable depending on the price. Okay, so I'm going to start with Sean Ryan. If we go to re-sign him, we can basically go. We could go a 1-year deal at $2.3 million per. To me, he's well worth that money if you can get him at that price. I would actually try to give him a 3-year deal at $2.3 million per. How do you feel about that, Jacob? What do you think about $2.3 million dollars a year? If he's willing to accept that, he may ask for a little bit more, because the number I've kind of got on him is like anything less than 5. I think Sean Ryan's valuable enough that, man, this guy can be your backup center. He's going to compete for starting guard job. He's one of your better run blockers, believe it or not. He's just not that good at pass blocking. So what do you think?
In a normal situation, if we had a healthy offensive line, I'd say walk away. Sorry, buddy. But being, again, that in this scenario, we've let Jenkins go. We've let Banks go. We probably are going to lose Sheed. So to me, again, we need to try to patch together this offensive line for 2.3 per. Like you said, a guy that's shown that he can play the center position, played both guards, and just pretty sturdy and stout. And it does seem like he's playing his best football as of late. And he's still a younger guy. 26. I'm all
hell of a wrestler too.
Right. I've heard that. That's where I would go. Yeah, I don't know if I'd go a 3-year deal, but like you said, it makes sense, because what a 3-year deal is usually a 2, which means we could probably get rid of him. I mean, would you even think about just giving him a 1-year patch it deal? But I'd be okay with that.
I'm good with it. Yeah, I definitely want him on the roster. I think he's valuable enough at that price. If we can get him at that, again, I would be willing to go as high as like $4 million. So we should be able to get him. But what do you think, Tim? Would you rather do a 1, 2, or a 3-year deal for Sean Ryan here?
I'm somewhere in the middle, probably a 2-year. 2?
All right, let's meet in the middle. Let's go 2 and see if he'll take $2.3 million per. And he did. So there you go. We're bringing back Sean Ryan. I think that's a great addition there, to be honest with you. So now you're getting into some it's showing the restricted free agents again here. So we have an opportunity to try to re-sign those guys as opposed to hitting them with the tender. So I kind of wish we would have held off. We could probably – well, no, we can't bounce back now because the decision's already made. So now when we do this model moving forward, we know that you can actually go to and still have an opportunity to re-sign them at market value, as opposed to just – it's almost like a mini franchise tag when you tag them with that, and it kind of secures their rights. But obviously the decision's already made. We're $42.2 million under the cap, so we're in good shape there. Do y'all want to try to re-sign Josh Wiley? And do y'all remember the injury situation? When is he due back? When is Tim, was he the one? I'm trying to remember.
No, that was Fitzpatrick. I thought Fitzpatrick had the injury, right? Correct?
I know Josh Wiley had the concussion. Let's see here real quick.
I thought one of them, Wiley, did he get injured that last game too?
There was something, I thought. Yeah, here we go. As of late, let's see. Concussion was cleared for week 17. Injury status cleared to return as of January 8th. So that was the last news we heard. He was expected to play in week 17. So I don't know if anything happened.
I think it's Fitzpatrick with the knee. Is the guy we're thinking of. Yeah.
So how do y'all feel about bringing Wiley back for the right price, and what would that price be? They're showing his market value at $3.4 million. That's pretty rich, though, isn't it?
To me, I feel like that's a little too much for me.
Okay, I agree. And maybe be a situation where the Packers let him go in the free agency. We picked him up off the scrap heap, so maybe the rest of the league doesn't see him as valuable as us. We could get him at a minimum, right? So. Next on the list, exclusive rights, all that stuff. Do we want to retain these guys? And listen, it's going to be $1 million per. It's a league minimum. These make a ton of sense. This is where you're getting into the exclusive rights free agents. You're probably going to want a lot of these guys. Bo Melton at $1 million, I think so.
Bring him.
So we're going to retain him. Bang.
I kind of feel the same. Sorry, I was going to say the same about Jennings. I just feel like he hasn't gotten a shot.
Okay,
we need that depth, guys that know what they're doing.
How about Kamal Hadden?
Kamal Hadden. Prayers up for Kamal Hadden. Hopefully the recovery is going well. Rehab is going well.
There's no chance he's going to be ready, probably at least till halfway through the season, right, Tim? I mean, that thing was demolished, they say, unfortunately. Yeah. So this is – we're experiencing the sucky part of the business right now, guys. We're sitting there going, sorry, Kamal, tough luck. So just remember these moments when these guys who haven't been making hardly anything – when they try to hold out because they had a really good year and they want to get a little guaranteed money, a little security. This is what we're talking about. This is the situation. It sucks, man. So, but yeah, we definitely got to move on. If we go to re-sign Malik Willis, they're saying $2 million per. We can't treat that realistic, right? So, so some of these other players up here, Romeo Dobbs, obviously we're not going to sign him at $20 million. Quay Walker at 11. Do we agree that's too high, or are you guys willing to go up to $11 million?
No. I'm not, at least.
Okay, what about you, Tim? What's the number you put on him? I know we've kind of fluctuated throughout the year here.
I've always said under 10, and I don't think Quay is going to take that, and I think he'll probably get that somewhere else. that 8 to 10 range would make more sense keeping Quay around just from a business standpoint, I think.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so Quay Walker will let walk. Rasheed Walker, they're showing him at 13.8. The market value is anywhere from 20 to 24, so that's a little bit unrealistic. We'll try to keep these numbers realistic. Kingsley Nibari is showing 8.5 on several sites. I can't do it. Again, I think people think he played better than he actually did. When you look at all the metrics, the numbers, and everything, there was times he made flashy plays. I would love to have him back at 3 million or something like that, but 8.5, got to let him test the market. Trayvon Diggs at 5.4. What do you guys think about this number right here? Would you want Trayvon Diggs back at 5.4 million? Again, he's actually a free agent, but we have to simulate that process at this stage right here because Stick to the Model actually has him currently on the roster.
I don't know, Tim. That's an interesting one for me. I mean,
he's already, we brought him here for a reason, right? My question is, if he tests the market, is he a guy that we think is just going to get snatched up immediately? Or is he going to test the market and we get a chance to maybe get him at a little bit of a discount? What do you think?
I think this is the best simulation we're going to get on the discount thing, Tim. What I'm worried about with this model, at this point, I've never let him walk, so I don't know if we'll be able to nab him in free agency or if they'll just treat it like, okay, he's not interested in signing with you right now. So we probably need to treat it as such right now, like, do we want him back or not? Just kind of keep it simple. At 5.4 million is the number it's showing. So that's the true question. Is it worth it to bring him back at 5.4 million, or do we just let him walk in free agency and go sign other cornerback?
I think it might be worth it to keep him then.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, his previous average annual value was 19 million per. His market value is showing 10 million. Now some sites are showing 2 million. So 5.4 is definitely somewhere in the middle. I'd be okay with bringing him back at that price after the cap signing. Obviously, it's gonna put you at 34.8 million.
Or do we go 1 year and we just?
I was gonna say maybe do a prove it deal again.
Year. Yeah.
Regardless,
he would sign a 1 year.
Yeah, he probably on this he would for sure. Yeah. So if you're just saying a 1 year patch it at 5.4, is that right?
It's the same thing for the cap hit this year, right? So
yeah, the cap hit does not change. They've got it very just generalized in terms of how it spreads out. So we'll go 1 year, 5.4 million. Is that correct?
Yeah. I like what J. Cole said, that Diggs can be the vet presence in the cornerback room.
Yeah.
Definitely need that.
To me, this is the
man his money.
equivalent to the Sean Ryan signing. It's like, okay, you kind of really, I mean, I think he's going to be cornerback one, to be honest with you. So it's a lot different than Sean Ryan, I guess you could say. But again, you're kind of building that floor. We're not saying he's the answer to the cornerback room, but I think that's a good signing. So, all right, 1 year, 5.4, that is confirmed. So I think we've kind of gotten through them, right, for the most part. You got some of these other guys too down here. Malik Willis, we're not going to touch. Clayton Tune, we're not going to touch. John Fitzpatrick's got the knee. Christian Welch is one you could get back at about 1.1 million if you wanted him. Emmanuel Wilson's remember he's restricted. We decided to pass on him, right? So now we can see how much we can get him for. They're showing him at 4.2 million value. So that's just too much for us, right? So if we tried to lower it down to the number we think he'd be worth, let's keep it under 3 million. Would y'all want him at 3 million?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. He's probably going to say no. Let's see what happens. Let's go 3 year, 2.9 million. Yeah, he said, get out of my face. Now, you can force it if you want to, if you feel like that's his actual market value. We're not going to do that here, okay? Lasita Smith. That's an interesting one. $1 million. I mean, he was a fourth string center. It's tough.
I think we still pass on him.
All right. Got it. Nick Nyman, there's Zane Anderson. Zane Anderson, now they're showing we can get at 1.4. Do y'all feel better about that? No. It's pretty good. Pretty good deal, I think.
Honestly, because isn't there talks that Mr. Gannon likes to do 3 safeties and all that kind of jazz?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think, Tim? Would you give 1.4 for Zane Anderson?
Yeah, I would.
All right, let's do it. 1.4 for Zane Anderson. I think, everybody likes Zane. Zane's a good football player. It's just he hasn't been able to stay on the field. It's the only thing that sucks. And you're not tying up a whole lot of money there. So we get him back at 1.4. So now we're ready. Well, there's Chris Brooks. We kind of talked about Chris Brooks. 1 million is his market value.
All right, you got it. You got to bring him back.
No brainer. And it's setting it at 3. We'll go 3, even though we're just walking through 1 year. Tim, you agree? Chris Brooks worth 1 million?
I think so. Yeah. Especially if we're probably not going to get E. Wilson, right?
Yep. Absolutely. All right, so there is your re-sign period. Okay, so obviously we can't recap the whole thing there, but we went through, we kept several players that are on the roster. You can see where the deals were. Let us know in the comments. You're watching this back later. How do you feel about the re-sign period? Is there a player that maybe you wanted us to keep that you disagree with, we let walk? Maybe you disagree with one of the players that we chose to keep. You thought, hey, let's let him hit free agency. Let us know in the comments how you feel. Hit that like button for us. Hit subscribe. Click the bell icon as we roll through this offseason